let us forget once and forever the word Indian and all that it has signified in the past. And remember only that we are dealing with so many children of a common father. Charles C. Painter.
In the autumn of 1883, a group of white people gathered at the Mohonk Mountain House in upstate New York. They were clergymen, government officials, social workers, and although some of them had never been to the West or actually met an Indian, they were convinced they knew how to bring Native Americans into the mainstream of American life. The decisions they would make would change the lives of all the Indian peoples of the West forever.
The name reformers had for themselves was Friends of the Indians. It's a very revealing name. What they saw themselves as doing was sharing the blessings of Christianity and the blessings of modern civilization with people who did not yet have it. They were going to protect their rights. They were going to raise them up to the level of others in American society. And they were going to try to absorb them into what they saw as the best qualities of American Protestant civilization. And as they saw it, who could argue with that?
The Friends of the Indian wanted to transform the youngest generation as rapidly as possible. Indian children as young as 5 were to be taken from their families and sent halfway across the continent to the United States Indian Training and Industrial School at Carlisle, Pennsylvania.
It was a military school, and they were trying to make white people out of them. Then when they took the children away from the mothers, they just knew they'd never see their children anymore. And then they didn't think about school. They were thinking they didn't know whether or not they really went to school or were going to be killed.
Our belongings were taken from us. Even the little medicine bags our mothers had given us to protect us from harm. Everything was placed in a heap and set afire. Lone Wolf.
All the boys in our school were given English names because their Indian names were difficult for the teachers to pronounce. Besides, the Aboriginal names were considered by the missionaries as heathenish. And so, in the place of Tainio Gawaja came Philip Sheridan. In that of Wapade, Ulysses S. Grant.
Within 20 years, there were 24 other off-reservation schools like Carlisle, and 81 boarding schools and 147 day schools on the reservations. Dog Creek, Forest Grove, Pocatello, Fort Defiance, Fort Concho. Despite their grim reality, many Indians saw them as the best available way to prepare their children for a new life in the white man's world. Even Sitting Bull made sure his children were sent to school, including his son Crowfoot, who had surrendered his father's rifle to the Army at Fort Buford. All Indian schools shared the same goal. Education, said one reformer, should seek the disintegration of the tribes. They should be educated not as Indians, but as Americans.
Even if one was successful at Indian school, let's say that one went off to Carlisle and graduated and came back, what place did that man have in a society that had not changed, that didn't need to have somebody that knew how to play the French horn or do the Irish jig? They had no value in that society. One of the contrasts was, what kind of shoe do you wear? Do you wear a moccasin or do you wear the white man's shoe?
Yes, they took our dialect away. When I went to Concho, my little friends, we all spoke our dialect. And we were told not to talk it, speak English. So our matron, a big husky white lady, her name was Garrett. And somebody said, Mother Garrett's coming. Well, we all tried to keep quiet, but she heard me. Mother Garrett jerked me by the color of my dress and dragged me in the bathroom. That lye soap was about that big and about that high. She broke off a piece and she washed my mouth, lye soap. She said, don't you ever speak Indian again, or I'm going to wash your mouth again. And my tongue got blistered from that lye.